The stars were burning. Across the galaxy, one system after another fell into silence. Planetary defenses vanished. Cities turned to ash. Refugees screamed into broken radios that no one could answer. The Draxan Empire cold, brutal, without mercy was winning. And now, the Galactic Alliance stood on its final line. High above the shattered world of Varan 7, a council of the last great species gathered. The air inside the war room was heavy. Faces showed exhaustion. Leaders who once argued about politics now sat quiet, heads bowed. "We've lost 11 colonies in the last 4 days," said Admiral Thalak of the Jivari. His voice trembled. "We are running out of fleets. We are running out of time." No one spoke. The silence was worse than screaming. Then a soft voice broke. "The stillness. There is one more option." All eyes turned to Chancellor Riva of the Norellians. Her skin shimmered silver under the dim lights. She looked ashamed. "You don't mean—" Thalak began, but Riva nodded double quotes yes. "The humans." Gasps echoed through the room. One senator stood up in protest. "Humans are unstable. Violent. They're not ready. We didn't even give them full contact rights," another shouted. "They're primitive. Still using metal bullets and fossil fuels." Riva stayed calm. "And yet, they survive. No species has adapted to such a deadly planet as Earth. No one else has war in their blood like they do." "Exactly." Someone snapped. "That's what makes them dangerous." Riva's eyes were hard now. More dangerous than extinction? The room fell silent again. Moments later, the council voted. The decision was not unanimous, but it was final. A signal was sent. It was short, simple, a desperate message that echoed through space toward a little blue planet called Earth. "This is the Galactic Alliance. We are losing a war we cannot win. If humanity wishes to answer, we ask for your help." Then they waited. 3 days passed, no reply. 5 days. The Draxan fleet destroyed the Melnary homeworld. Screams filled the council's screens until static replaced them. By day 7, hope was gone. They didn't even open the message. Someone said bitterly. "Just as well." Riva stood alone on the balcony of the council tower, watching the stars disappear, one system at a time. Her heart felt like stone. Then the alert rang. A deep, sharp tone echoed through the chamber. Screens blinked, lights flashed. A technician shouted from his station. "We have a reply. It's Earth." Everyone ran to the center platform. "Play it," Riva ordered. The screen flickered. Static. Then a calm human voice spoke. It was male, cold, unemotional. "Message received. Coordinates?" That was it. No name, no questions. Just 3 words. The room fell into stunned silence. Did they just accept? One senator whispered. "They didn't even ask who." "We are," another muttered. Riva smiled, just slightly. "They don't need to." 1 week later, the first human fleet arrived. There were only 20 ships, small, old designs. No advanced shields, no gravity engines. The other species looked at them with confusion and doubt. "These are Earth's best?" Thalak asked. "We needed help, not a funeral." But then the human soldiers stepped out. They wore no fancy armor, just dark metal suits and helmets with glowing red visors. Their leader, a man named Commander Mace, walked to the council without bowing, without smiling. "You called," he said. Riva stepped forward. "Yes, he raised a hand. "Save the speech. Just point us to the front line." Even Thalak was speechless. "You want to go straight into battle?" Mace stared at him through the visor. "We didn't come to talk." The first target was a Draxan forward base on the moon of Eleron. The Alliance expected the humans to scout, wait, maybe test defenses. Instead, Mace sent in all 20 ships. The aliens watched from orbit. Human ships moved in strange patterns, like bait, like shadows. Then came the strike. From space, it looked like chaos. But within hours, the base was gone. No survivors. The humans lost one ship. The Draxan lost 2,000 soldiers. Even Thalek stood silent. Riva finally said, "They don't fight like us." "No," said Thalek. "They fight like they don't fear death." Later that night, inside the human camp, an alien diplomat tried to speak with Mace. "We are grateful for your help," he said carefully. "But some ask, why did you come? Why now?" Mace looked at him, silent for a long time. Then he said, "Because someone asked. And because we remember what it's like when no one comes." The alien frowned. "You mean Earth was invaded?" Mace didn't answer. He just walked away. Word spread across the galaxy. The humans had arrived. Some called them monsters. Some called them heroes. Most didn't know what to call them, but no one could ignore them. The Draxan tried to ignore them. That was their mistake. Within 2 weeks, the humans had broken 5 more enemy strongholds. No other species had done this. No other army could. The Draxan began to notice. They sent a warning: leave this war, or Earth will burn. Mace read the message in front of the entire council. He looked up and said, "They think Earth is scared." He leaned forward and tapped a button on his tablet. The reply was sent. Try. At the next battle, the Draxan sent their war beasts, giant armored monsters, bred for destruction. The Alliance had lost dozens of cities to them before. The humans set traps, mines, lures, distraction tactics that no other race had ever used. Within 20 minutes, the beasts lay dead. One soldier joked, "These things would last 5 minutes in New York." Another replied, 3, if they hit traffic. The aliens didn't understand the joke, but they saw the results, and they started to believe. But it wasn't just the weapons. It was the eyes, the way humans looked at war. They didn't panic. They didn't scream. They calculated. They adapted. They expected pain. One medic, a soft-spoken Silurian, watched a human soldier walk back into battle with a broken arm. "Why?" she asked. "You should rest." He grinned. "We rest when they stop breathing." Then came the turning point. A human scout ship went missing behind enemy lines. Standard procedure for the Alliance was to mark it lost. Mace said no. He sent an entire team to recover one man. The Alliance protested. "It's not worth the risk." Mace's voice was like steel. "Every soldier is worth it. That's why we win." They found the scout alive. Barely, but alive. When he returned to camp, he saluted with a shaking hand. "Didn't think you'd come," he whispered. Mace only replied, "We always come back." The message spread. The Draxan began to fall back, not because they were losing numbers, but because they were losing spirit. They didn't understand. These humans. They didn't understand how a species so new could be so deadly. They didn't understand how Earth had turned war into instinct. And above all, they didn't understand how anyone could fight with such rage, and yet still fight for others. In the council chamber, Riva watched the stars. Again. This time, fewer were burning. Thalek stood beside her, quiet. "You were right," he said softly. "They weren't ready." Riva smiled faintly. "No, they were waiting." A ship passed overhead. Its engines burned like fire. Its hull carried one word in sharp human letters: vengeance. The humans had arrived, but no one expected them to look like this. On the edge of Alliance space, the main alien fleets gathered near the planet Sindar Prime. It was the last safe point before the war front. This was where the humans were supposed to land. The council waited, nervous, confused. Then, 20 dark ships came out of hyperspace. Old, ugly, simple designs, nothing like the sleek starcraft used by the Alliance. No bright energy shields, no advanced AI systems. Just solid iron-colored warships with thick armor. Admiral Thalek stared through the station's glass. "This is their fleet?" he whispered. "They fly scrap metal." Chancellor Riva was beside him, watching closely. "Don't judge them yet," she said. "Wait." The ships approached slowly, almost silent. Then one of them sent a message. "This is Commander Mace of Earth's Vanguard Fleet. Permission to land." The human ships docked without issue. The hangar lights flickered as their engines powered down. Then the doors opened. One by one, human soldiers stepped out. No flowing robes, no golden armor. Just black bodysuits with matte plating, red visors, and a strange energy around them, like they had already seen too much. They didn't march in perfect lines. They walked like wolves, calm, alert, ready to strike. Alien officers watched from behind safety glass. "They don't look strong," someone muttered. "They look tired," said another. But no one dared say it too loudly. Commander Mace led the group. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with short-cropped black hair and sharp gray eyes. No smile, no fear. Council members moved forward to greet him, but he didn't slow. Riva raised her hand. "Commander, welcome." He cut her off with a glance. "We're not here to talk, Chancellor. Just tell us where to fight." The room went cold. Lek narrowed his eyes. "You should respect the leaders of this galaxy." Mace looked directly at him. "Respect is earned, not given." Riva quickly stepped between them. "There's no need for tension. We're allies." Mace nodded once. Then, "Treat us like soldiers, not children." Later that day, the Alliance gave humans their first mission. It was a recon operation, low risk. Just observe a Draxan supply base and report movement. Mace read the report, then tossed it aside. "We're not scouts," he said. "We're warfighters." The room fell silent. Riva spoke carefully. "This is protocol. We don't send new species into major battle zones." "Then we're not the same," Mace replied. "Earth doesn't train its people to watch. We train to end wars." Thalek laughed coldly. "Is that why your planet's history is full of blood?" Mace didn't flinch. "Exactly." The humans left for the front the next day. Their target was a Draxan weapons facility on the planet 04. The Alliance expected them to gather intel and retreat. Instead, the human fleet charged straight into the fire. Alliance commanders watching. The feed panicked. They're not following the plan. They're outnumbered 5-1. But on the screen, human ships split into strange, unpredictable formations. They moved fast, cutting across enemy lines like knives. Then came the dropships. Black pods fell from orbit, crashing into the ground like meteors. Doors blew open, and human soldiers stormed the facility without waiting for support. Alien generals stared in disbelief. There, charging directly into gunfire. "No cover, no retreat. What are they doing?" Riva whispered. "They're doing what we can't." On the ground, chaos ruled. The Draxan defenders were fast, brutal, and heavily armed. But the humans didn't break. They moved in squads, using smoke, flares, and noise to confuse the enemy. One squad fought into a narrow hallway, pinned by fire. A soldier shouted, "Need a distraction." Another soldier, barely 20 years old, smiled. "I got it." He ran into the open. The others screamed, "No!" But the Draxan turned their guns to shoot him. That moment gave his team the chance to flank the defenders and wipe them out. When it was over, the soldier was bleeding badly, but alive. A medic ran to him. "Why did you do that?" He grinned through the pain. "Better me than all of us." In orbit, the Alliance fleet watched as the facility went silent. Human squads began exiting calmly. The base was destroyed. All weapons recovered. Casualties minimal. 20 ships had gone in. 19 came back. Thalek's face was pale. They won. Riva nodded slowly. They didn't just win. They dominated. At the debrief, alien officers tried to understand the strategy. "You had no eye coordination," one said. "No linked targeting. No orbital shield cover." Mace leaned forward. Strategy isn't about technology. It's about will. Riva asked, "Why didn't your soldiers retreat when outgunned?" Mace replied, "Because on Earth, we don't always get the choice." Later that night, alien soldiers spoke in whispers. "They fight like machines." No, machines don't bleed. These humans, they bleed, but keep going. One officer said, "They're not fearless. They just don't let fear stop them." And deep inside the Draxan Empire, someone noticed. A transmission was intercepted. New enemy identified. Species 3621, human. Threat level, unknown. Risk factor, high. The Draxan prepared a counterattack, but this time, they hesitated, because something new had entered the war, something unpredictable, something human. The Draxan didn't wait. Less than 5 days after humanity's first battle, they struck back hard. A Draxan cruiser fleet appeared in orbit above Varney 6, a small colony recently defended by Earth soldiers. The aliens had studied the human attack patterns. They thought they understood. They were wrong. Early warning alarms screamed across. Varn is -6. The sky turned black with enemy warships. Alliance soldiers panicked. They were still repairing buildings from the last battle. "We can't hold this line," shouted one lieutenant. But the humans were already moving. Commander Mace stood at the command center, eyes locked on the live feed. "They want to fight," he said. "Let's give them one." Hook, first 2 minutes of video. The Draxan opened fire. Cities exploded. Defense towers collapsed. Screams filled the comms. But as the enemy landed on the surface, they didn't find frightened civilians. They didn't find retreating soldiers. They found humans waiting in silence, guns ready, faces calm and smiling. The first ground wave of Draxan troops stormed the outskirts. Human squads, only 12 strong, let them get close, then unleashed chaos. Claymore drones exploded under their feet. Smoke grenades cut off visibility. The humans moved like shadows, disappearing and reappearing from cover. They weren't using advanced tech. They were using warfare. Dirty, brutal, effective. One human soldier, Corporal Ramai, was trapped in a collapsed building with his squad. Draxan infantry were outside, searching for them. "Orders?" whispered one of his teammates. Ramai smiled grimly. "Make them think we're dead." They activated heat suppressors and waited, completely still. As the Draxan passed, Ramai whispered, "Now." The humans leapt from the rubble, knives, short-range bursts. Not a single bullet wasted. The entire Draxan patrol was gone in less than 30 seconds. Up in orbit, the Draxan flagship watched in confusion. "Report," barked the commander. A shaken officer responded, "The humans. They are not following known protocols. They engage and vanish. We can't lock their movement." Back on the ground, one Draxan war beast, a 4-legged armored monster, charged through the ruins. Civilians screamed. 3 human soldiers ran straight at it. "Are they mad?" an alien officer cried from the COMM's. No, they were bait. The beast followed them straight into an old sewer tunnel rigged with explosives. With perfect timing, the humans jumped out and boom, the tunnel collapsed, crushing the monster beneath. Commander Mace watched the detonation on his screen. Never bring a beast to a trap fight. Elsewhere, human sniper teams sat hidden on rooftops, picking off Draxan officers one by one. They didn't shoot fast, they shot smart. Each bullet was chosen. Each target counted. A single shot would turn a charging squad into a confused mob. Alliance officers watched the feed, stunned. "Is this psychological warfare?" Riva answered quietly, "No, it's Earth warfare." The Draxan became desperate. They sent in their second wave. Airships, bombers. Mace was ready. "Drop the M shells," he ordered. Old tech. Nothing fancy. But when the shells exploded mid-air, every Draxan machine dropped from the sky like stones. Battlefield went quiet. Then came the final push. Humans didn't scream as they charged. They didn't shout war cries. They moved in silence, like death itself. One human squad surrounded the last Draxon holdout bunker. A loudspeaker crackled inside. "You are surrounded. Surrender, and you live." The Draxon didn't respond, but the doors opened. They walked out. Weapons dropped. They had never surrendered to anyone before. Now they surrendered to humans. Back at command, the Alliance couldn't believe the reports. Total human casualties: 14. Draxon casualties: 1,300. One officer whispered, "They don't fight like us." Reva nodded slowly. "They fight like they already died once." Later, the Alliance tried to award medals to the human units. Mace declined. "We're not here for medals," he said. "We're here to finish the job." Thalik finally asked the question no one dared ask earlier. How did Earth become like this? Mace answered without blinking. "Earth is war. We didn't choose it. We were born in it." The Draxon sent a new message across the galaxy. This time, it wasn't a threat. It was a warning. Avoid contact with human units. Do not engage unless necessary. They were afraid, and for the first time in centuries, they had good reason to be. The Draxon were angry now. After losing 3 battles in a row to Earth's warriors, they decided to break the rules. No more clean warfare. No more targets with civilians removed. This time, they would crush the humans with something designed to destroy minds, not just bodies. They launched their darkest weapon. Hook. First 2 to 5 minutes. The sky over Darnax 12 turned black. Not from ships. From fear, invisible waves swept through the air, making even strong warriors fall to their knees. Alliance soldiers screamed, dropped their weapons, and cried in confusion. It wasn't gas. It wasn't a virus. It was psychological warfare, a bioweapon engineered by the Draxon to bring unstoppable fear. Entire battalions ran without a single shot fired, except one. The humans didn't run. They walked forward. Alliance generals couldn't believe the live feeds. Even our AI drones shut down under the signal. One shouted, "But the humans are still advancing." On-screen black-armored human squads marched through screaming wind and chaos. Their visors flashed red, their movements sharp and controlled. No panic, no hesitation. Commander Mace's voice came through the comms, flat and calm. "Your weapon works on minds. Our minds were broken before this war began." In the battlefield center, 3 alien soldiers were trapped behind rubble. They saw a squad of humans walk toward the bioweapons pulse zone. "Don't go in there," one of them shouted. "It'll break your mind." One human turned his head slightly. "We trained for worse. This is just Tuesday." And they disappeared into the storm. Inside the fear zone, the world was madness. Voices whispered. Shadows moved. The air burned. Hallucinations tore at the brain, but the humans kept going. They used hand signals, locked formations, and timed steps. Every 5 minutes, they injected something into their necks, some kind of chemical stabilizer. But even that wasn't enough. What truly held them together was something else. Each carried a small metal tag on their armor. Not rank, not ID. It was a name. A name of someone they lost. One Draxon commander, watching from a safe station far away, stared in disbelief. "They should be screaming," he said. His advisor looked nervous. "Maybe they are. Inside." The Draxon commander slammed his fist down. "Why do they keep fighting?" The screen showed humans walking through what looked like hell. Fire, wind, ghostly lights. And still, they moved forward. At the center of the fear zone was a tower broadcasting the psychic pulse. The humans reached it. One by one, they planted charges at the base. The last soldier stood still, staring up at the building. A quiet moment passed, then he spoke into the comms. "For Earth, for those who never made it." Boom. The tower exploded. The wave stopped instantly. Across the battlefield, the wind fell silent. The fear vanished. Alliance soldiers looked around, gasping. And in the center, through the smoke, human silhouettes stood tall. Still alive. That night, Riva met Mace in the war room. How? She asked softly. That signal made our strongest. Warriors fall apart. Mace didn't answer right away. Then he spoke. You ever see a child hold their breath under rubble? Because screaming would get them killed. Riva's throat tightened. No. We have, he said. That's what Earth is. She looked at him. Is that why your people don't retreat? Mace's eyes were calm. Because we already lost everything once. Now we only go forward. The next day, a wounded alien soldier from the front recorded a message and sent it to his homeworld. I saw humans walk through death, not because they didn't feel fear, but because they carry something stronger, something I don't understand. The Draxan leadership, watching this new failure, were shaken. They destroyed our best psychological weapon, one growled. No. They walked through it. They sent one final order. Engage only if necessary. Avoid direct contact with human forces. The war was changing. The galaxy had seen advanced species before, but never one that used pain as fuel. Never one that didn't retreat. The Draxan agent, codenamed Virek, took the form of a young alien diplomat. Smooth skin, soft voice, harmless face. His goal? Infiltrate a human base. Understand their psychology. Find their weakness. He thought it would be easy. It wasn't. Human base was located in a frozen wasteland. Blizzards raged all day, yet no one complained. The walls were solid steel. No comforts. No decorations. Just training yards. Armories, maps, names written on a stone. While in silence, Virek watched from shadows. He expected to see discipline, cold logic, war machines. But what he saw disturbed him more. He saw humans laughing around. A campfire, even during bombardment. He saw a soldier give his food to a hungry alien child. He saw another reading poetry between missions. And then he saw one more thing. Raged out one night. Virek followed a squad returning from the field. They were covered in blood, some their own, most not. One soldier sat alone outside the barracks. Virek, still disguised, approached him. You look angry. Virek said carefully. The soldier didn't look up. I'm always angry, he replied. Why? The soldier finally looked at him. His eyes were fire and ice at once. Because we were born on a world that never cared if we lived. Later, Virek snuck into a locked room, a private space with no guards. He found books, photos, video files. He played one. It showed Earth's history. Wars, bombs, famines, floods, cities burning. Children running from fire. Soldiers carrying their wounded. A woman with a broken leg throwing a stone at a tank. Virek watched, frozen. Why would they record this? He whispered. Then a voice answered behind him. To remember who we are. Virek turned. Commander Mace stood there. Unarmed. Calm. You're not one of us, Mace said. We knew the moment you arrived. Virek shifted back into his Draxan form slowly. I had to know, he said. What makes you unstoppable? Mace didn't raise a weapon. He just walked closer. You think it's rage? He asked. Virek nodded. You fight like creatures. Filled with pain. Mace's voice dropped. We are. He gestured to the screen still playing Earth's past. But rage isn't our strength. It's the fuel. Our strength is that we carry others with us. He tapped a necklace around his neck, a dog tag. This belonged to my brother. He died before we ever left Earth. Virek frowned. Then why do you still carry it? Mace's eyes darkened. To remind me why we don't lose. Virek was silent for a moment. Then he asked quietly, why help the galaxy? Why fight a war that isn't yours? Mace didn't hesitate. Because someone asked. And because Next time it could be us. He turned and walked away. Now go. We don't need prisoners, but we don't need liars either. Back aboard his hidden ship, Varek sent his final report to the Draxan High Command. Humans are not driven by glory. Not by conquest. Not even by survival. They are driven by memory, by love, by pain. They don't fight because they enjoy it. They fight because no one else should have to. The Draxan leaders read the report, and they understood nothing. They had no word for sacrifice. No concept of shared grief. No history of war where civilians mattered. They only knew conquest, and that was their greatest weakness. Back on Earth, a new group of soldiers were preparing to join the front. One recruit looked nervous. He asked his commander, "How do we fight? Something that big?" The older soldier smiled. "You don't fight it alone." He tapped the recruit's chest armor. "Carry your people. That's how humans win." At the edge of the galaxy, Draxan fleets pulled back. They didn't know what to do. Every time they tried to break humans, they saw something strange in their eyes. Not hate, not madness, just a promise. We won't stop, ever. And that terrified them more than anything else. The alien generals watched the map. They saw the Draxan fleet triple in size overnight. They saw new war machines on the front lines. They saw defeat in the stars. One alien commander whispered, "We need a miracle." Commander Mace just smiled. "No, you need a human playbook." And for the first time in galactic history, humans taught the galaxy how to fight dirty. The Draxan prepared for another traditional battle: straight lines. Massive weapons, predictable formations. But the humans didn't do that. They vanished. For 3 whole days, not a single human ship showed up on any sensor. The Draxan grew nervous. And then, boom! A fuel depot exploded deep in Draxan territory. Then a command center. Then a weapons lab. No ships were seen. No troops were spotted. But everything burned. Riva watched the reports from her station. "This isn't war," she said. "No," replied Mace. "It's survival." Then came the lesson. Mace gathered high-ranking officers from across the Alliance. Skeptical, proud, confused. He stepped in front of a warboard and said, "You've been playing chess. We play fire." Mace explained the tactics. Fake retreats. To lure Draxan forces into traps. Decoy signals that led fleets into asteroid fields. Suicide drones hidden in abandoned stations. Information warfare spreading rumors that Draxan commanders had betrayed each other. The aliens were shocked. "That's not honorable," one said. Mace looked him in the eye. "And being dead is?" The very next week, the Alliance tried. A mixed unit of alien and human soldiers launched a fake retreat from planet Corliss. Draxan troops chased them right into a canyon rigged with seismic mines. 3 minutes later, the entire enemy battalion was buried alive. The alien commander stared at the aftermath. "This works." Mace only nodded. Drax, and morale broke. Paranoia spread. They began turning on each other, suspecting spies and traitors. One Draxan general even fired on his own ally ship, screaming, "You led them here." But no one had. Humans were just using tactics that Earth had perfected in wars long forgotten by other species. On the ground, humans introduced a new idea. Ambush teams. Small squads hidden behind enemy lines with no exit plan. They hit fast, then vanished underground. Or didn't come back at all. One alien soldier asked a human sergeant, "You go on missions with no return plan?" The sergeant laughed. "Sometimes the mission is to die, but smart." Even the Draxan leaders started changing strategy. They pulled back fleets, abandoned strongholds. Why? Because they didn't know where the humans would strike next. Not when. Not how. Not even if. In one now famous battle, human Marines disguised themselves as wounded, left behind in a destroyed city. When Draxan forces came to investigate, the wounded stood up with grenade launchers. That ambush alone took out an entire enemy transport group. At a strategy council, Meeting, Riva asked, "Where do humans learn all this?" Mace replied, "From 3,000 years of pain. We lost millions teaching ourselves how to survive." Thalik asked bitterly, "And now you teach us war?" Mace said nothing. Then he pointed to the map. 100 enemy icons blinked red. "Now we teach you how to win." Alliance generals changed everything. No more front lines. No more predictable moves. With humans leading, battles became puzzles, confusing, sudden, terrifying, and slowly. The Draxan began to lose ground. In private, Riva asked Mace, "Why are you helping us, really?" He looked at her, serious. "Because we've seen what happens when evil is ignored." He looked up at the stars. "And we won't let this galaxy fall the way parts of Earth once did." Soon, other species began copying Earth's tactics. One alien captain wrote in his journal, "Human warfare is not just about weapons. It is a way of thinking. A belief that no rule matters more than survival." The Draxan tried to adapt. They created counter-ambush units. Fake intel leaks, but it didn't work, because humans expected their enemies to learn, and had already moved on to the next. Trick. One human scout team sent a final message before disappearing behind enemy lines. "If you're reading this, we made them bleed. If not, try the same play again. But change the ending." The Draxan didn't just fear Earth soldiers anymore. They feared Earth's ideas, and that was worse, because you can fight an army, but you can't kill a mindset. The Galactic Alliance Command Center shook with panic. Draxan flagship detected heading straight for Earth. A junior officer shouted. The council froze. Riva's voice was steady but firm. "We must prepare. This is their final move." Earth, the blue planet, buzzed with activity. Human scientists and engineers worked day and night. Warships refueled. Soldiers trained, but no one showed fear. Commander Mace stood on the bridge of the flagship. Vengeance. He looked at the screens. "Draxan. Flagship is bigger than anything we've faced before," said his second in command. Mace's eyes hardened. "Then we show them why Earth never backs down." The Draxan flagship, a massive fortress in space, advanced like a dark star. Its weapons glowed red-hot. It could destroy entire fleets in seconds. Alliance scrambled their best ships, but they knew numbers didn't matter this time. In orbit around Earth, the two fleets clashed. Explosions lit the void. Ships were torn apart, but the humans fought like a single mind. One enemy ship fired a massive laser. A human pilot flew through the beam, dodging with impossible speed, and launched a missile that hit the enemy's core. The flagship faltered on the ground. Draxan forces attacked Earth's key cities simultaneously, but human soldiers had prepared traps, hidden bunkers, electromagnetic pulses. They slowed the enemy. Mace led a team deep behind enemy lines. Their mission: sabotage the Draxan flagships. Control center. Silent and fast, they moved through dark corridors. Inside the flagship, the Draxan leader, Lord Krath, awaited. He was cool, tall, with glowing eyes like burning coal. He smiled when he heard footsteps. "Humans," he hissed. "You will die here." Mace stepped forward. "We don't die. We fight." A brutal battle erupted. Blades clashed. Bullets flew. Machines hummed. Meanwhile, outside, the rest of the fleet fought desperately to hold the line. Back inside, Mace faced Lord Krath. "You underestimate Earth." Krath sneered. "We will see." Suddenly, alarms blared. Mace's team planted explosives. "Time to go." Mace shouted. They raced back through corridors, collapsing behind them. Outside, the flagship exploded in a massive fireball. The Draxan fleet scattered. Back on Earth, the council cheered. Riva smiled. Earth has turned the tide. Mace looked at the stars. This is only the beginning. At the edge of the galaxy, the last Draxan world remained, heavily defended. Surrounded by automated guns, war factories, and black towers. No species had ever reached. Not until now. The human fleet didn't come alone. They came with all eyes, ships. From 10 different species flew beside Earth's fleet, led by humans who had earned their respect and their fear. Commander Mace stood on the deck of Vengeance, staring ahead. "This is it," he said. "One final strike. For every life they took." The battle began. Draxan defenses opened fire-blazing skies, missiles and dark energy pulses. But humans had changed everything. Their tactics, their leadership, their courage. Human saboteurs disabled the outer rings of defense. Alien snipers backed them from orbit. Old enemies now fought side by side. In the final push, Mace led a ground team straight into the Draxan capital. They breached walls. They walked through fire, and they planted Earth's flag in the heart of their last stronghold. The Draxan surrendered. For the first time in their history, they bowed their heads. Back at Alliance Council HQ, all races gathered to vote. A new galactic charter. New laws, new peace, and at the center stood a human. Commander Mace. No crown, no rank, just a soldier. Reva, now head of the new council, spoke proudly. Humanity was once the outsider. Now they are the reason we still exist. The chamber stood in silence. Then applause. Then cheers. Even old enemies joined in. Later, Mace stood alone on a balcony, looking at the stars. A young alien officer approached him. "You ended a galactic war," he said. "How does it feel?" Mace gave a tired smile. "Like we're just getting started." Epilogue. Earth didn't ask for power. They didn't demand tribute. They only asked for one thing: never forget. And if another darkness comes, call us. Now. Across the galaxy, statues of human soldiers stand on worlds that once knew only fear, not as conquerors, but as reminders of the species that answered a desperate call and ended a war no one thought could be won. The end.